This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Sunday, and I'm still coughing over a hit I took before we came on. Welcome, good evening. The news be doing stupid shit. You know it. Goddamn. Sorry. If I can't get my breath. Hold on. I think now maybe I'm good. Maybe. DJ Dub, good evening. Welcome in. If you did not get to watch the Trump-Zelensky press conference from Friday, we're going to watch that tonight. I'm going to catch you up. Not the whole thing. We're going to watch about the last 12, 15 minutes. It's premium content. I'm sorry if you've already seen it a million times from other streamers. World leaders are reacting to that meeting. Bernie Sanders, I'm still not catching my breath. What is up with me? God damn. I'm getting old. I don't have the lungs that I had when I was a fucking 20-year-old. Jesus Christ. Sorry, my apologies. That's what, for those of you that might be joining us on YouTube, I was smoking weed, listening to music with the Twitch people before we came on. And I had just taken a big ass bong rip with Julie. Yeah, she hit the weed 8 minutes ago and I'm still coughing over it. It's all good. Bernie was on one of the morning shows talking about calls for Zelensky to step down. Keir Starmer meeting with Zelensky today, announcing a new aid package from the UK. Vance was protested when he went to Vermont on a skiing trip. Elvira donated her Tesla. We got video of it. The first trans woman ever is competing in the Miss Georgia pageant. We're going to hear from her. God damn, I still can't catch my breath. Here's your meme of the day. Y'all libtards only voting Democrat because you think you get free stuff. Oh my God, Daddy Musk gonna send me a check for $5,000. Definitely gonna happen. Praise Orange Jesus. Praise him. I also thought about doing the John Cena meme I have. If you missed it, John Cena, who has been all about hustle, loyalty, respect, Make-A-Wish kids, poster boy for 20 fucking years of good guy, turned bad guy last night, shocked everyone. It was so shocking to me that, like, in the Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins took a cheap shot at CM Punk, which allowed John Cena to go for the win. I didn't think John Cena was even going to go for the win. I thought he was going to chase Seth Rollins out. But he went for the win. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course he would. A normal person would go for the win, but like John Cena, I expected to, do the right thing. But he went for the win instead, and he got the win. And then shortly after, turned heel. So now he's telling Make-A-Wish kids to give up instead of never give up. Be lazy, be disloyal, be disrespectful. I guess we can see him now. We live in a upside down world. John Cena never turned heel when Obama was president, or Joe Biden. Oh yeah, I've got more fucked up news to tell you about. A flight attendant was fired for twerking. I guess probably not for twerking per se. I bet it was more for sharing it out on TikTok. Limp Bizkit leak is funny. Limp Bizkit accidentally leaked their new album. Speaking of inbreeding, a father a father and daughter have been accused of marrying each other. I'm going to tell you about a correction strike. Hansville residents are reacting to their police department getting completely revoked. There was a jail riot in Texas. We've got wild video of patrons leaving an establishment after cops shot a suspect. A cheer competition in Dallas had to be evacuated. Originally thought to be gunshots, apparently were just parents fighting. They almost turned around a soccer game and took it home because fans were chanting something homophobic. State of emergency has been declared in South Carolina as wildfires are raging. Trucks are waiting outside of Gaza after Israel had cut off aid. This seems like yet another violation of the ceasefire agreement. An 8th grader that refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance was told to go back to her country. Fox News says Democrats want... Hold on, I fucked that one up. Fox News says Democrats want to end cursive writing so kids won't be able to read the Constitution. The crowd interrupted Representative Dana Hashberger. Now we've got video. And China and Russia are targeting disgruntled workers that have been fired by the Trump administration. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Holiday, I would love some macaroni. Are you putting some kind of sauce on it? Are you putting cheese or Alfredo? Is it just plain dry macaroni? Because I don't know if I want that. But I do appreciate the offer. We got 5 cheese macaroni going once. I would like a plate of macaroni. Thank you very much. Or a bowl. Whatever accoutrement you're using to serve macaroni in, I will be happy with. This dude totally wants to look at him. He's already got his mouth wide open. My dick would fit in there. Some dude in a political group that I'm in was like, you should hear how he talks about women on his show. And I was like, how do I talk about women? Like, what? Did I miss something? According to my analytics, a lot of people in my chat identify as women. Probably about half. That dude needs a titty slap.
A titty slap! Come on now.
Man, I really thought the Oscars and the Troll Patrol logo was gonna pop her titty. It was awfully close. Oh shit, are you guys ready for this? Nobody's high enough for this. Let's get it going. Did anybody not see the press conference? We're going to take it from when it starts to get contentious. I believe this is a question from Caitlin Collins here.
Study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian
They'll be
forces?
protected. The
European
agreement
forces?
will protect them.
U.S.
The
forces?
agreement.
The agreement.
Signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder
You
why.
know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous
Why
questions.
the confidence that you won't
Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings, I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go.
Who the hell is laughing at that?
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country,
Right.
richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force.
Muscle cocks and movies. He likes their muscle cocks and movies.
With my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hatred, tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But
You are
never
not
really
tough.
feel that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then
Good evening, Igloo.
invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I
killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we know, dipshit.
but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange.
Sounds kind of like Israel.
Sign the exchange.
Anti-war machine, welcome
to
in.
it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are
President,
not
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower
Seems
problems.
like a good time to spark one up because it's sparking up in the Oval Office.
This
Have you
conflict.
ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't know
God
that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I was
You don't
saying
have the
it.
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're
you-
gambling with World War
What you-
III.
what you
You're
speaking about?
gambling with
What you
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the
What-
United States
what
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
5 cheese macaroni.
That
Michelle,
will
good
speak
evening.
very loudly about the war. You
He's
can
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for your
are brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If
West
you didn't
You
have our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times
that
thank
there,
you
except
to
that,
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low.
I-
on-
Bow down, peasant.
You're
Please,
running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with
a
you.
guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
The statement.
you got to be more thankful. Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards.
Etched
With us,
somewhere.
you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry,
It's
here.
going to be a tough deal to make.
Um,
Because the attitudes have to change.
Russia breaks ceasefire. What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made
Kevin
by
fucking Logan.
the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he
Welcome in, my
was
friend.
being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is,
Fire
empowered
resist.
you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting
Smash.
thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh?
We've seen enough.
This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
It's gonna be great television. That is the recap of what happened on Friday afternoon. Now, Zelensky earlier today actually said, still ready to sign U.S. minerals deal.
So are you willing in principle to talk about conceding territory, in principle to express some regret of President Trump, or to sign the minerals deal?
Угода про мінерали готова.
The agreement on the minerals,
Ми дуже
the
послідовні.
deal is ready.
Вона була не
We
готова,
are.
їх було багато варіантів. Є
It wasn't ready.
варіант.
There were many
Його можуть підписати
variants,
міністри.
but there is the last one. It is ready, and the
Все,
ministers
де я
can
як
sign it.
президент сказав, що ми це можемо
Everywhere
зробити.
where I have said it as
Так,
a
ми не
president
робимо
that we
ніяких
can do
кроків
it,
назад. Це наша політика бути
we do
послідовними.
not retreat.
Незважаючи на
It
те,
is
що сталося
our policy
раніше,
to
незважаючи
continue
на це,
despite
ми
what
конструктивні.
happened
Якщо ми домовилися, що вона буде
in the past, we
підписана,
are
з нашого боку,
constructive. If
ми
we
готові
agreed upon
підписувати.
signing it,
Я, чесно
we
кажучи,
were
думаю,
ready
що
to
і Сполучені
sign it,
Штати
and
будуть готові.
honestly, I
Напевно,
believe that the
потрібен
United
час
States would
проаналізувати
be ready
якісь
as
речі.
well. Perhaps there is a need
Хотів
in
просто,
time to
щоб,
analyze certain things, but I would
почули
just
позицію
want
України. Для
Ukrainian
мене було
position
дуже
to be
важливо,
heard.
щоб
It was very important
українська
for me
позиція була
that
почута. Те, що вона була
Ukrainian
медійно,
position
ну і не я готував цю
heard.
зустріч, правильно?
The
Я
fact that it happened
був
in
в тих
media,
умовах,
I
які
did not
були.
prepare this meeting,
І
and
нашу позицію було почуто, тому що я
was
не
in those
хотів би,
conditions that
щоб
were there, and our stance was
вона була
heard,
не
because
Question mark.
I didn't
Я
want
просто
our
думаю, що
position to be
важливо, що вона
ambiguous.
почута сьогодні,
It's,
а не під час
I think that it was
столу
heard
перемовин, де буде
now and not
Путін.
at
Я
the
би не
negotiation
хотів,
table
щоб,
at which Putin
ми повинні
will
всі
be present.
розуміти і знати
We
одне
must
одного.
all understand and know each other.
Розуміти ті чи інші
Understand
червоні лінії,
these or those red
вони
lines.
не емоційні, вони просто є. Просто
They
є,
are not
є
emotional.
справедливість,
They just
є
happen to
правда,
be
ось і
there, and
все.
there is justice and
Я
truth,
готовий
and
до
that is
будь-якого
it.
формату.
I'm ready for any format. constructive format in relationship with the United States, and I believe that we have it all, and it is in our capacity to preserve all that. On our side, once again, we very much count on that. We're willing, and we will be the agreement that is on the table. It will be signed if the parties are ready. And I said what I think. Because the agreement has two parties.
Well, the mineral agreement apparently, like, isn't that big of a deal. Like, we don't need their minerals. Raven, good evening. That's why, like, Zelensky's like, all right, I'll sign it. Like, this is just Trump. He needs to act like he's getting something from Zelensky in order to appease his base. So I think that's what's going on. He wanted to humiliate him, and then he needs to act like he got something of value out of Zelensky. The Ukrainian ambassador was caught on camera at the meeting that we just watched from Friday. This is wild. Her reaction is amazing.
Take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want to ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets. So the bullets.
I think that was everyone's reaction to what was going on.
Stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire. What do you think?
There wasn't
Doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you.
The ambassador's reaction, not the only reaction, going viral. The internet reacts to Marco Rubio's body language as he was slumped down in the couch while the meeting was escalating. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's body language during Friday's disastrous meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is raising eyebrows online. Relations between the U.S. and Ukraine have nosedived since Trump, who repeatedly promised last year that he would end the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours of taking office, began his second term on January 20th. Little Marco is what he looks like right there. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's picture during a White House press conference. Tensions erupted shortly after a reporter asked Trump whether he had aligned himself too much with Putin. Images of Rubio slouching with his hands clasped and appearing stone-faced during the event appeared on social media, with some commentators claiming that the Florida Republican appeared to be embarrassed at the press conference. In addition to the tense exchange that preceded the end of the gathering, images and videos of Rubio focused on an earlier moment when Brian Glenn, a reporter for the right-wing media outlet Real America's Voice and the boyfriend of Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, asked the casually dressed Zelensky whether or not he owned a suit, which is also a hilarious exchange.
Do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do. You own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such.
Office.
I will wear costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
maybe
like
something
this.
like yours. Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for.
Maybe something like yours. Maybe something better. Jesus Christ. World leaders are reacting to the meeting that we're laughing about right now, which really probably isn't all that funny now, is it? Shocking Oval Office meeting.
World leaders are weighing in on the shocking Oval Office clash between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Fox's Christina Coleman has more.
Volodymyr.
Supporters of Ukraine lined Downing Street in London Saturday ahead of a meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full...
Not high enough for this shit.
It comes just one day after a diplomatic blowout in the Oval Office, where Ukraine was hoping to finalize security guarantees from the U.S., but cameras recorded a much different moment. President Trump accusing Zelensky of being disrespectful.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
On Saturday, Ukraine did achieve a separate deal. The UK signed a loan which will give the country more than $2.8 billion.
We stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take.
Worldwide support is pouring in. Leaders, including those from Canada, Germany, and Sweden, are posting statements of solidarity on X. French President Emmanuel Macron calling Russia an aggressor, writing, quote, "We were right to help Ukraine and sanction Russia 3 years ago." But back in the U.S., there's a divide on how the Oval Office meetup was perceived.
This really could have been and should have been a positive moment for Ukraine. It was wholly unacceptable.
I think what we're going to see is that Trump sells out, gives Putin everything he wants.
Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman also weighed in on the clash. In a statement, she called it a, quote, complete diplomatic failure of Kyiv.
I think that Trump is going to continue to fund Ukraine, and he just needed that show. And the notion that he got something out of him in order to pull it off. I think that's the play here. Hold on. I need to... We're going to talk about the... Here, let's do this first. Let's go to... Bernie was on this morning with Meet the Press. Apparently, some people are calling for Zelensky to step down. This was Bernie's response.
Welcome back, and joining me now is Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Great to be with you.
It's wonderful to have you back, Senator. Let me start with Ukraine and that Oval Office meeting. The reaction continues to pour in, and you just heard me speak with House Speaker Mike Johnson. He left the door open to the possibility that it may be necessary for President Zelensky
Mox, good evening.
In order to get to a broader peace agreement. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that President Zelensky needs to resign in order for there to be a peace deal?
I think that is a horrific suggestion. Zelensky is leading a country trying to defend democracy against an authoritarian dictator, Putin, who
Bernie is so tired.
And I think millions of Americans are embarrassed, are ashamed that you have a president of the United States who says that Ukraine started the war, that Zelensky is a dictator. He's got it exactly backwards. The people of Ukraine have lost tens of thousands of soldiers. Their cities are being bombed as we speak. And our job is to defend the 250-year tradition that we have of being the democratic leader of the world, not turn our backs on a struggling country that is trying to do the right thing.
And we will continue to follow that, of course, Senator. We have a lot to get to, so I'm going to talk about budget cuts and switch topics here so we can get to that as well. You heard Speaker Johnson argue that there's massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse in entitlement programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. In fact, the Government Accountability Office does say that both Medicare and Medicaid made more than $100 billion in payment errors in 2023. Let me ask you, Senator, Democrats were in charge for 4 years. Should the Democratic Party have done more to address some of those issues with the insolvency of our entitlement programs?
And Trump was in power 4 years before that. Look, if there is waste and fraud in the Defense Department, which is the largest single budget item that we fund, which has not been able to fulfill an independent audit in the last 7 times, where there's massive waste and fraud, we should go after waste, fraud, and abuse in every agency of government. There's no argument about that. But let us be very clear. What Republicans are trying to do right now is to make massive cuts in Medicaid, over $800 billion, cuts in nutrition programs which feed hungry children. Why are they doing that? Because they want to be able to use those savings to provide over $1 trillion in tax breaks for the richest 1%, for the Elon Musks and the Zuckerbergs and the Bezoses of the world. In my view, you don't take food away from children, health care away from struggling people to give tax breaks to billionaires. Do we go after waste and fraud in every agency of government? Yes, we do.
Well, let me ask you about Social Security. And you raised Elon Musk, Senator, so let me follow up with you on this very point, because he's made some very pointed comments about Social Security. I referenced it earlier in the broadcast. This was to Joe Rogan. I'd like you to hear it and get your reaction on the other side. Take a look.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Basically, people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get
Didn't this motherfucker have a baby born that day?
retirement payments. So the future obligation. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
Senator, President Trump says he's not going to touch Social Security. Elon
Yes,
Musk
he had another kid.
Ponzi scheme. Do you agree?
No, I think what Musk, the wealthiest guy in the world, just said is totally outrageous. That's a hell of a Ponzi scheme when for the last 80 years, Social Security has paid out every nickel owed to every eligible American. Quite a Ponzi scheme. What is in fact a problem is that if we don't make reforms and improve the funding mechanism, in the next 9 years, the Social Security Trust Fund, which provides about 20% of the funding, will go broke. So what we have got to do, and I think most Americans agree, and I've just introduced legislation to do that.
And he's talking about how people don't have enough kids. The day his kid is being born, he's on a fucking podcast with Joe Rogan instead of with the kid being born. How fucked up is that?
Is you lift the cap on taxable income. Right now, Musk, worth $400 billion, contributes the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund as somebody making $170 million. You lift that cap, we can extend the solvency of Social Security for 75 years, and you can raise benefits. Kristen, right now in America, half of elderly people are trying to get by on $30,000 a year, 22% on $15,000 a year. We've got to raise Social Security benefits. We've got to expand Medicare to include hearing, dental, and vision, not go after these programs which are so important to millions of our seniors.
I want to talk about what you have been doing recently, Senator. You've been crisscrossing the country, talking about warning of what you say is an oligarchy in the United States. We're seeing some video of that right here. Some Democrats argue the best action right now for the party to counter Donald Trump is to do nothing at all. Democratic strategist James Carville.
That stupid Carville, he's an idiot.
Over and play dead. Allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight and make the American people miss us. Senator, what say you? Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, Bernie's doing the exact opposite.
In fact, the problem is the Democrats have been playing dead for too many years. 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. We have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of this country. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country. Millions of seniors are struggling to heat their homes and put food on the table. I don't think you play dead. I think you stand up for the working class of this country and make the point that right now the Trump administration is clearly an administration designed to represent the interests of the Musks of the world. 13 of the people that he nominated to head agencies are billionaires. You know, Kristen, when Abraham Lincoln was in Gettysburg, looking out on the field where so many had died to defend freedom, he talked about a vision of America where we have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. What we have right now in Washington, let me be very clear, is a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class. And these guys want to get their greed is uncontrollable. More tax breaks for billionaires, cuts to programs for the elderly, the children, and the poor. We've got to fight back. That's what these trips to Wisconsin and Michigan will be about.
Senator, very quickly, we are just 12 days away from a potential government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Democrats have a significant role to play to keep the government open. Some Democrats are saying they're not going to vote for a government spending bill that includes Elon Musk's cuts. Will you vote for a bill to keep the government open if it includes those cuts?
Well, we don't have a bill right now, but I will tell you this. Last I heard, the Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. And I hope they present us with a budget that works for working people, not just for the billionaires.
All right. Senator
Bernie is seriously not looking
so
good.
much. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
Breaking news and top stories.
Shut up, Lester.
App or
I mean, the man's going on a tour. If you don't know, he's going to districts that Biden won and that Trump flipped in 2024. And my God, that's exactly what you got to do. That's how you hit back. He's going to talk about the threat of oligarchy and fascism. People seem pissed off. Vance tried to go on a ski trip this weekend. It didn't work out too well for him.
Hundreds of protesters were lined up along Route 100 in Waitsfield this morning, voicing their opposition to Vice President J.D. Vance and the Trump administration. Vance is in Vermont for a family ski trip at Sugarbush Resort, and his visit is sparking
Sugarbush
due to his controversial policies. NBC5's Yune Martinez was at the rallies, speaking with both sides about the VP's visit.
This was a scene in Waitsfield on Saturday. Hundreds of protesters from all over state filled Main Street, protesting Vice President J.D. Vance's family trip to Sugarbush Resort.
Every human being has a right.
Maria Reyes, who moved to the U.S. from the Dominican Republic in search of better opportunities, says the decisions made by under the Trump administration could jeopardize everything her family has worked for.
I just feel like we're taking like a million steps back. America is supposed to represent opportunity, de salir de un país que uno cree que uno no puede ingresar, no puede salir de la violencia.
Her frustration resonates with many in the crowd as signs and chants fill the air calling for change.
Our democracy is at risk, and we have people who don't care about people.
This country's in a lot of trouble right now, and we can't keep going down this route.
As the hours passed, the crowd only grew. But just 9 miles away in Warren, the scene was very different. A crowd gathered there to greet Vice President Vance with open arms.
When we saw that there's 3 protests, we thought, well, we better have a little welcoming committee come out.
Bootliggers.
Show our support.
I thought that was unbelievable that J.D. Vance would come to a blue state. And it just shows what kind of an awesome, normal guy he is.
As opinions clashed on both sides, many expressed that regardless of political differences, everyone has the right to be heard.
J.D. Vance is here skiing,
and he has a right to
It's significantly wider.
He's the Vice President of the United States, and this is fine that they're protesting. I'm okay with that. I'm just here to show my support.
Now that the other side wasn't wide, it is Vermont.
Larger national conflict with protests happening throughout the country since the Trump administration took office.
Eat the rich.
Continue and grow until, sadly, till they claim martial law. So, yeah, it's going to grow. Keep going.
In Waitsfield, Union Martinez, NBC5 News.
The parade of celebrities who are protesting by getting rid of their Teslas is growing. I don't know how to make this full screen. Weird ass Instagram, okay. This is Screen Queen Elvira.
My Elon Saxmobile, I'm donating it to NPR.
Oh, she had to throw that licensed music in there. Apparently she's been riding around with Elon Sucks written on it. Oh, there we go. Now I can make it full screen. Maybe. Fucking fuck. I'm actually getting ads on Twitch, Smash. That's amazing. I thought they took ads from me. Because we're politics. The Maynard says, what about the planet? Russia and China are targeting workers that have been fired by the Trump administration. Trying to get disgruntled workers to come over to them. Foreign adversaries include federal adversaries. Hold on, let me make this bigger because I clearly can't read it. Foreign adversaries, including Russia and China, have recently directed their intelligence services to ramp up recruiting of U.S. federal employees working in national security, targeting those who have been fired or feel they could be soon. This is according to 4 people familiar with recent U.S. intelligence on the issue and documents reviewed by CNN. The intelligence indicates that foreign adversaries are eager to exploit the Trump administration's efforts to conduct mass layoffs across the federal workforce. Russia and China are focusing their efforts on recently fired employees with security clearances and probationary employees at risk of being terminated who may have valuable information about U.S. critical infrastructure and vital government bureaucracy. At least 2 countries have already set up recruitment websites and begun aggressively targeting federal employees on LinkedIn. It is smart for them, Mox. You're right. One person they're not going to be able to get to is the head of one of the federal watchdog agencies. I don't know which one it is, though. Sorry.
Breaking news now. A federal judge has ruled the head of a federal watchdog agency must stay on his job. This news coming down tonight. The U.S. District Judge in Washington said President Trump's bid to remove the special counsel was unlawful. Hampton Dellinger, who leads the office of the special counsel, sued Trump last month after he was fired. The Justice Department quickly filed court papers.
One of the special counsels.
It will challenge that ruling.
The Trump administration going to challenge that ruling. Tennessee Representative Dana Hirschberger. I think I called her Harshberger earlier. I think I got it wrong. It's Harshberger. Harshbarger. Fuck, I don't know. Let's see how they say it.
Woman Diana Harshbarger met with constituents today while several people both inside and outside of the meeting area protested. Those protesters voiced concerns with federal workforce cuts and the Trump administration. News Channel 11's Brody Wilson was there and shares the intense back and forth that unfolded. Brody?
Things got intense as soon as Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger took the microphone to address constituents in Blountville earlier today.
If you want to be respectful, I'm going to explain what you think is wrong. And I don't know where you're getting your information. I'm here to give you truth. I'm here to tell you exactly how we're going to do this, and I want you to be respectful when I tell you.
Representative Harshbarger tried her best to discuss issues like the proposed federal budget resolution, securing the border, and tax cuts for average Americans.
Tones, good evening.
But the crowd's reaction made it hard to get through any of that information, with one person even having to be removed by law enforcement. Congresswoman Harshbarger insisted throughout the meeting.
Blind to what? What are you guys talking about, Red Wine?
The best intentions in mind.
The only thing we're doing is making the government accountable for your taxpayer dollars. Yeah. Is that a bad thing? That's all we're doing.
Some community members appreciated Harshbarger showing up and facing the tough crowds.
I also appreciate her being present and listening and answering questions.
She is in ruby red fucking Tennessee, so facing tough crowds is an insane proposition.
It's a tough crowd, and I think if we don't work together as constituents,
Harshbarger indeed,
we're just going to keep on being divided.
While others voiced their concerns.
The biggest concern is pushing back on these cuts that Elon Musk and a group of teenage boys that aren't even old enough to rent a car are going through our data's information and personal people's information, all under this guise of cuts. It's a lie, it's a smokescreen, and it seems very unconstitutional, if not illegal. And Diana Harshbarger,
brazenly illegal,
apparently.
I asked for an interview with Representative Harshbarger. Her team wasn't able to make it happen due to security concerns, but said they would be available next week.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I mean, like, Bernie's been one of the strongest people on condemning Palestinians. Or on condemning Palestinians, on condemning Israel's actions. I've got you the video from the woman who was kicked out of Harshbarger's town hall event.
Well, you know, there's millions of Americans who have pre-existing conditions. This was the whole premise.
I understand all that. I need to know where you stand.
We
Are you going to fight for it
There's
for
going
us?
to have to be a safety net program for people like you.
Are you going to support
Yes, of course. Listen, I'm on the committee that will make these choices.
Committee cutting Medicaid.
Ma'am, you don't have to worry. There's going to be a safety net program. I don't know why you going to fight.
Energy Flow, good evening.
I just told you, yeah, it's almost like you think I'm the devil or the cartel and I'm the enemy. I am not. I am here to work for you to make sure you don't fall under that. Okay, so listen, the president understands that too. It is up to me. It is up to me and my physician colleagues and my healthcare colleagues on both sides of the aisle to make sure there is some kind of program for those uninsurable patients.
At this point, I was increasingly frustrated with their lies and non-answers. I believe we should always fact-check our representatives when they are not telling the truth. She made a blatantly false, unscientific claim that people are born only one of two genders. This ignores the nearly 2% of the population that is born intersex.
Women will never win another championship or get another scholarship because biologically you're born a man or a woman.
No, intersex intersex people exist? Intersex people exist. Do intersex people exist? Do intersex people exist? Do intersex people exist? Do intersex people exist? Do intersex people exist?
Listen,
yes or no?
Are you changing from one sex to another?
Or intersex is not changing.
I'm not going to address the issue.
Okay.
I'm answering
You
this
lied.
question.
More
Do you
respectfully
want a
ask you to
man
walk
that
this way,
is
please.
10 times stronger
You're gonna
than
kick
a
me out
woman
for
and
asking her to
being
answer a
Yes.
question.
Yes. Let's walk this way.
You're gonna kick me out for asking her to answer a question that she won't answer?
Well, let's walk this way.
Everybody else is yelling. Why do I have to leave?
And now
You
she
have been
can't
causing
even,
a scene since you got here.
Everybody's been causing a scene.
Well, step out. Let's walk.
because she was paralyzed because of the hit that
Come on.
he gave her.
Let's
That is
go. Let's go.
Oh my God, the things the representative is saying.
Are you serious? Everybody is yelling.
Grab your stuff and let's go.
I hope that the president will take
For asking the congresswoman if intersex people exist. I want to know if intersex people exist.
I'm not going to address the issue that I brought up.
Intersex people exist, and she won't answer the question.
Ask people out here.
I appreciate
Silent, welcome in.
whether you like my answer or
Do
whether
you,
you
is this?
Congresswoman, we have one more.
Okay.
Get up.
We got one more question.
Are you kidding me? No. Are you kidding me?
Shelley, good evening.
She didn't do anything.
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I asked a question. I asked a question. I want my water bottle in there.
I'll bring it.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was your question?
This is Christy Burke on YouTube. Christy Burke on YouTube. I'm going to share this video. She actually shared out the entire meeting with Harshberger. You go ahead and throw her a sub. Christy Burke on YouTube. Kicked out for fact-checking your congresswoman. But Trump's getting shit done, guys. Did you see this? No need to worry about people speaking other languages in this country. We now have an official language.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron. Starting this hour in Washington, D.C., where President Trump recently signed 2 more executive orders. The first order has made English the official language of the United States. White House officials say the policy is meant to encourage the learning and adoption of English, as well as empower new citizens to achieve the American dream. The second order is set to expand American timber production. The Secretary of the Interior and the Secretary of Agriculture are set to update their guidelines to streamline timber production, reduce timber delivery times, and decrease timber supply uncertainty.
It's a good possibility this motherfucker is illiterate, and he's up here signing an executive order about how English is our official language. We want to encourage people to learn English from an illiterate goddamn president. Not only is he illiterate, he is economically illiterate. We're going to have tariffs kick in this week.
To the tariffs set to go into goods from 3 of the country's biggest trading partners. The new fees will apply to goods from Canada and Mexico, plus higher.
That makes official language remedial English.
Alexis Christophorus is here to break down what it means for your wallet. And Alexis, what do these tariffs mean for consumers, and how soon could we start to feel the impacts?
It all depends really on a couple of things. How long will these tariffs be in place, and how willing and able are businesses to absorb those higher costs and not pass them on to consumers? So we could actually start seeing the effects at the supermarket within weeks. We're talking about perishable items like fresh fruits and vegetables, including avocados, tomatoes, bell peppers, also baked goods.
Not my avocado toast.
As well as beef and some seafood from Canada. And if you're in the market for a new car, analysts say the tariffs could add up to at least $3,000 more on that price. That includes, by the way, domestic cars.
At least.
Exactly.
Wow.
Could be more for trucks, SUVs. Some other categories here that could be impacted if this goes on on longer: clothing, shoes, pharmaceuticals.
So how are consumers responding? Like, are we already changing the way we're spending money?
Look, consumers have been a rock star throughout all of this. I mean, higher prices, higher interest rates. We continue to spend. A lot of that is because of the job market, the strong job market that we've had. But we're starting to see some cracks here. Consumer confidence suffered its biggest drop in nearly 4 years in February. A lot of people now saying they're frustrated with inflation, the threat of these tariffs, and that they're starting to feel a little less secure about their own finances. Also adding to this, Walmart this past week said that sales will probably slow down this year. They're considered a bellwether for consumer spending. Wow. So if we continue to pull back in a more dramatic way, this could spell trouble for the economy. I spoke to at least 2 economists this week who say they're actually expecting a recession later this year. Could be a little premature to start talking recession, but it's clearly on their minds.
And Alexis, that speaks to the power that people have. So on Friday, when there were many people who said, we're not going to go shopping today, there are businesses that do feel the impacts of that.
If you do it long enough, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Alexis, I know you'll stay on top of it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I was going to order groceries. I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's the no economic day. So I waited until Saturday to order my groceries. Rage quit. Good evening. After you call the plumber, be sure to wash your ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Punk Rock Octopus, welcome in. Good on you not buying stuff on Friday. I don't buy stuff most days. Are you guys ready? It's going to be the comeback of the century. You counted him out. You thought you'd never hear from him again. But he could be the next mayor of New York City, officially in the race. He's been dominating everybody and hasn't even been in it. His very first campaign event. One of the Andrew Cuomo.
Let me begin by thanking Cara, Mariah, and Michaela. Public service.
Oh, Mox, you want Cena heel turn. Be lazy, disloyalty, disrespect. No more never give up. Just give up, you weak ass kid. I love it. I was shocked. Never expected it. Never in a million years. They got me. I couldn't believe it. Good job, WWE. Speaking of heel turns, Andrew Cuomo.
For us is a family undertaking because everybody pays a price. And I want to thank them for giving me the strength, the support, and the love to go forward. I would not do it without them, and I couldn't do it without them. Thank you, Cara, Mariah, Michaela.
Please, New York City, if you do not stop this man right now, we're going to have to put up with him for the next decade, 2 decades. It's going to suck. And I don't want to do it.
You've seen it all. You've known it all. But it's not true.
Quesadilla, good evening.
Live life, you continue to learn. And one of the lessons I learned was...
Put an end to Cuomo now, and we won't have to deal with him. He'll be a podcaster or commentator on a news station or something like his brother.
When you're inviting people out, you have a lot of friends. When you are governor of New York, you...
Might be an ambassador in a future presidential administration, but we won't have to deal with him.
Then you hit... Thank you.
But if he wins
you hit,
and becomes mayor of New York City, he's in our lives, front and center, because he's going to be like, he doesn't even give a shit about being mayor. He wants to be president. He wants to be president in 2028. He is in our lives almost immediately.
The Lord has blessed me.
Oh, fuck you, Cuomo.
Stood by me and loved me and supported me and my family, and I am a better, stronger person for their
Objectively, good evening. He resigned because he sexually harassed a woman. He resigned because he let old people die in nursing homes during COVID.
I want to thank the great Assemblyman Eddie Gibbs, who's here from Harlem with our friends from Johnson Houses.
I hate this man, and I do not want to have to put up with him for the next goddamn 20 years. So please, New York City, do the right thing. Oh my God, Tones. He's going to win, isn't he? Fox News has a crazy conspiracy that Democrats are trying to end cursive writing in order to prevent the children from being able to read the Constitution.
And Idaho state senators introducing a bill that would require cursive lessons at public schools. Under the legislation, students would have to start lessons by 3rd grade, and teachers must test their writing with benchmarks and assessments. And by the end of the 5th grade, students would have to be proficient in cursive. This idea reminding us of a scene from the Adam Sandler movie, Billy Madison.
Bunt. B-U-N-T in perfect cursive. Any more brain busters?
Well, at least 24
Is that
students
supposed to be
require cursive
funny?
writing in public schools. So you guys, I didn't realize this is a generational thing. I talked to our producers who are a lot younger than us, and they said some of them don't write in cursive, and they don't even know how.
Yes and no. I was talking to Charlie about this earlier. I had the privilege, President Trump let me have for a little while the letter that Joe Biden left him. And it was written in cursive. Joe Biden of the previous generation.
And Trump couldn't read it.
Cursive handwriting was so hard to read that we were passing the letter around in the White House booth. Like, what is that word? What is that letter?
There's a lot of reasons
His hand-
behind why that
well.
probably was not written very well.
No.
Okay, I've got a holiday. Yo, what the fuck is that? Are you talking about Doocy? Are you talking about the woman that looks like Snooki in the middle? Are you talking about that dude's tie? Like, whoa, there's a million things we could point to here.
Beyond cursive.
No, this is so amazing. It's because you're not used to reading cursive.
Absolutely. And I have to...
Because what did I say? I said, no, you said this is so horribly written. I was like, are you kidding me? He has great penmanship.
Okay, well, then I apologize, President Biden, wherever you are. Your handwriting is just fine.
But you know, Rachel, as a connoisseur of conspiracy theories, and
I hate Doocy's gay, right? Like, my gaydar is just like off the charts with him. That is a gay man. I'm not wrong, right? I believe he's married to a woman, but like that's a beard, right? Like, I'm not wrong. Look at his mannerisms.
Not all of them, by the way.
no, like you're batting like
I'm batting pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. But you know, one of my favorite conspiracy theories, and I kind of believe it, is that the reason Democrats don't want people to learn how to write cursive is so they can't read the actual Constitution.
Oh, that's a great.
What, like when they're on a tour of Independence Hall in Philly?
Yeah, because they have
It's not a straight fancy lad.
This could be National Treasure 3. Oh, I'm here and I want to steal the document, but I don't know which one.
Right, exactly. I don't know which one. Is that?
Well,
we have some implements, some writing implements.
Okay, let's
they
go
want
for
us
it.
to show our handwriting. What are we supposed to write?
So you just write whatever you want.
Write
How about this?
Write Fox and Friends. The capital F is actually really hard.
Oh, see, I'm a mix.
I'm just going to go lowercase. I'm going to actually do that on another page. I think I might have to switch for a couple days. My texting hand is messed up.
Does this count? Does this count? Oh, that's terrible. There we go. Look at that.
Here's the deal. They're not teaching.
See? That's not messy. What? Hey, wait, no.
Okay, here is everyone's favorite segment. Would you participate in the orgy couch? We only have 3 participants this time. We've got Steve Doocy. Peter Doocy's the dad, right? This is Steve Doocy. We've got Snooki. And then I don't even know like what this dude's deal is. He seems like he belongs in the 80s. He's the sidekick to an 80s villain that's like out to get, Ferris Bueller or some shit. I think the chat is an overwhelming no on the orgy couch with these three participants.
No, no, that's not messy. That's really good. No,
Charlie says
that looks like chicken scratch. Yours is terrible.
Mine looks
really
like
good.
something that
yours is terrible.
I got a wimpy pen.
So what do you guys think?
That's not even cursive.
Yes, it says this part is. I didn't know how to do it.
But that's lowercase. It's a lowercase f.
I think that's
what's
like
a capital F?
Should I do this? I probably got a.
Doesn't have to be capital.
That doesn't look like an F.
I'm gonna let's.
Should kids know how to
make
write
Abby
in cursive?
draw something.
Charlie's. I'm gonna write that Charlie's cursive.
You know whose cursive handwriting is really good? It's Donald Trump's. Have you ever seen his signature?
Because he's old school.
No, it's not.
That's a capital.
I have one that says Charlie. What does that say? Can we? And Charlie's
poopy head
cursive is.
You're just sycophant.
That's pretty good.
But the question is,
That's
yes
you,
or no, should children know how to write in cursive?
Yes, they should.
They should.
They absolutely should.
We can't let these things go.
All right, so, but you know, I really do. I think Abby Hornacek should.
I don't remember how to write an F in cursive.
To do this, I bet she has extraordinary
She's so young, she
handwriting.
might not even know how to write in cursive.
Can you write cursive?
I only write in cursive. I was just
Fox and Friends.
cursive. That's how I was raised to write, and I think it's very classy. And also, I have horrible handwriting. That's why I write in cursive, because you can't really tell the difference.
Good idea.
Also,
Be a doctor.
I have horrible handwriting. That's why I write in print so people can fucking read it.
autograph, which is what people are doing to these drivers. We're on pit road right now, getting ready for
I don't understand the whole thing with cursive. Like, all it is like regular writing with lines attaching to the words. The idea that it's difficult to read is wild to me. But also, I think I just established while I totally can write in cursive, I apparently forgot how. I haven't done it in so long. I do not remember fucking in cursive, apparently. I could not make a cursive F. All right, this one's going to piss you off, guys. We're going to go ahead. I guess content warning on this one. A young girl refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and was told to go back to her country.
I was sobbing and I ran out of the room crying.
14-year-old Danielle Khalaf tells me that an experience with her teacher at East Middle School in Plymouth has made 8th grade an anxious experience for her. She says it started January 10th when the Pledge of Allegiance started playing over school speakers.
I decided I wanted to sit down because I didn't feel comfortable standing because of what's happening in Palestine. After the pledge was over, the teacher addressed the class and said that anyone that was sitting down was being very disrespectful.
Danielle says that after class, she went to the teacher to explain why she was sitting. But she says the teacher spoke
Fuck that teacher.
continuously, ultimately telling her,
since I enjoy the freedoms of the country and that I live here, I should either stand or go back to my country.
Crying, Danielle says that she left the classroom and went to the counselor's office. Her father, Jacob, tells me that they've since learned the teacher admitted to that statement.
Their only solution was to put my daughter in a different class.
I reached out to Plymouth Canton Schools.
Fucking sue that school.
The district has been made aware of the incident. An investigation was conducted and appropriate action was taken. They wrote that because this is a personal matter, they can't share the specifics regarding the employee involved, but that the district facilitated restorative practices between the teacher and students.
Based on what Danielle was letting us know is that the administration had restorative practice in the classroom with the teacher and the other students, but the only person that wasn't in the classroom was Danielle herself.
The Arab American Civil Rights League, or ACRL, held this press conference to address Danielle's story. They sent this letter to the school district demanding the school take action, and they claim the school has not. According to the ACRL, this is a direct violation of Danielle's First Amendment rights, and they have filed a formal complaint with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, fighting for
I
justice.
found out it was in Michigan right when she said Michigan.
For you to feel that you received that justice.
I think the teacher needs to be removed.
Absolutely. Apparently that's what we end on. Well, since she brought up the Pledge of Allegiance, I think it's time for us to say Pledge of Allegiance. It's a thing that we do here on the show. We need to give thanks to the country that gives us the rights that we live in. I agree with the teacher that we need to show respect to this country, god damn it. So please stand, put your hands on your hearts for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you very, very much for letting us little kids live here. It really, really was nice of you. You didn't have to do it. And it's really not freaky to have little kids mindlessly recite this anthem every day and pledge their life to a government before they're old enough to really think about what they're saying. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it's often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids. Now come and get your Ritalin.
I will come and get my Ritalin. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. We have local news stations around here. We'll post like different schools doing the pledge. I will totally post that under it. Socialist Aunt, good evening. That little kid that got kicked out of class because she wouldn't stand for the pledge. She's awesome. And she said one of the reasons why she wouldn't stand was because of the U.S.'s position on Gaza. Israel now blocking all humanitarian aid. Once again violating the ceasefire. These are trucks waiting outside of Gaza to deliver aid. Much needed aid. Total block on all humanitarian aid. Trump administration has approved nearly $3 billion in arms sales to Israel. Israel, meanwhile, blocks humanitarian aid. Palestinians in Gaza fear hunger and starvation during Ramadan after Israel blocked all humanitarian aid into the enclave. And one woman in Jabalia warning there will be famine and chaos. The United Nations and countries around the world condemn the Israeli move, with Egypt, Qatar, and Jordan calling it a blatant violation of the ceasefire agreement and humanitarian laws. But who the fuck is going to do something about it? Adamir, a rights group, says the Palestinians who release Israel held up for several days last week have reported experienced severe physical and psychological torture when they were initially supposed to be freed on February 22nd, and when they were tortured. The Palestinians that were released by the Israelis were tortured after their initial release date and between actually being freed 4 days later. They're supposed to be freed on February 22, according to the agreement. Were actually freed on February 22nd. On multiple occasions, they were taken onto buses for release, only to be returned to their cells, which caused significant psychological distress. Many of the released prisoners were in poor health, having lost significant weight. It said 2 women detainees from Gaza had been held in complete isolation from the outside world, denied visits from lawyers, and had no information about their families throughout their detention, which took place amid the ongoing genocide. Israeli forces have seized a farm and demolished a date factory in the West Bank as it continues its onslaught. Egypt says Gaza reconstruction plan is ready. I'm just kind of going down through like the Al Jazeera live updates. Palestinians in Gaza were supposed to enter the holy month of Ramadan as the second phase of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas got underway, but Netanyahu's government now wants to renegotiate the terms. Israel is pressuring Hamas to extend the first phase of the ceasefire in exchange for releasing half of the remaining 59 captives. And it has again cut off aid and supplies to Gaza. Hamas is accusing Israel of carrying out a coup against the existing deal and is urging the international community to act. That is your update on the ongoing crisis in both Gaza and the West Bank. Bring it back to the U.S., where a state of emergency has been declared in South Carolina as several wildfires are raging.
We are breaking into your coverage now to provide an update on the wildfire conditions in Carolina Forest. South Carolina under a state of emergency. More than 175 wildfires are impacting the state, and the Carolina Forest fire is the largest. Now, we've still not received any reports on containment for that fire in Carolina Forest. We did just learn, though, the 800-acre fire near Highway 90, that is 80% contained at this hour. ABC 15's Mike Owens has been working around the clock. He is on Walkerton Woods Road right now in the Walkers Woods community. Mike, what are they like there at this hour?
Well, the good news for residents here is they're getting ready to take up the hoses here. It was a harrowing morning. I talked to several of the residents. They tell me that just after 9 o'clock in the woods over here behind these homes, flames shooting up. They told me 40, 50 feet in the air. One resident told me about 9:08 he called 911. He said within 4 minutes the cavalry came. Something like 30 to 40 trucks is what he described. They showed up here. He said they immediately ran behind these homes, started working. I've seen video myself of some of these viewers sending in, and the flames were right up against these homes, and firefighters, give them credit. None of these homes over here have been damaged. They worked hard. Another resident telling me that after they were able to put it out here, they relocated and then had to come back again. I've talked to several of the firefighters. I asked them, I said, where is it? People want to know, where is the fire? Where is it active? One firefighter telling me that it's everywhere. The wind is really the story here. It's moving it around and they're chasing it. And so you're getting hot spots and then it's moving again. They put it out like they did here, and then the wind blows it back over and it starts again. Now, some good news though. Residents telling me the Black Hawk helicopter they've been using,
his head gets bigger as it goes back.
The airplanes they've been using are making a huge difference here in this area, in Walker's Woods, and all of the Carolina Forest.
Kind of looks like a predator.
Telling me that when they would make the drops, you could even see the firefighters relaxing a little bit because of how much of a difference that makes on those flames and putting out those fires. I was here last night in Walker's Woods, and I can tell you that the wind really picked up last last night. I live in the Carolina forest. The wind was very big last night, about 30 miles an hour.
Cancel Justin.
And you could actually see the embers blowing all over the place, watching it cross the street. As you can see the firefighters here taking up the hose. And
I don't holiday.
Embers moving around, and at night you could see them lit up through the trees, and it was all in the brush.
I did kind of think he was looking a little alienish when I first popped on. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not paying attention to what you're saying.
Dry leaves, dry pine needles, just a lot of things that are the perfect situation for fires. Now, SC Forestry is here, and they're here in a big way. I've seen a number of tractors, bulldozers, and they're back in
the good evening.
Cutting it up. They're cutting down trees. They're removing all the dry brush they can. Now, last night, if you've been watching our coverage, I was on Tuckahoe Road. Tuckahoe Road is right over there on that side of the trees.
Tuckahoe.
Walkerton Road on the other side. And SC Forestry Commission told me that they're cutting
I've tucked in a few hoes in my life
brush as they can, all the way back through there, and it's pretty extensive. As you see here, it looks like fire crews are reattaching this hose back here because, again, this fire, they put it out. And it chases like a firefighter.
But it's not his forehead though. It's the back of his head.
Behind these communities.
I feel like the front of his head is
like Avalon. And for those of you
T-Bot is welcome in. I feel like the front
1 and 90 on Carolina Forest.
I've tucked video in for now. I feel like the front of his head is fine. It's the back of his head. It gets bigger and goes upward as it goes back.
Is this massive wooded area? Last we were told it was up to 1,200 acres. And
all I see is a massive shiny area.
Not only the fire, but the wind here. And again, those airplane drops have made a huge difference, and also the effort of the firefighters. Several of the residents here telling me these guys literally ran.
Where's this fire at? What state?
Right up against fences along here. This neighbor in this house right here telling me that these homes, that it started over here and it went.
By the way, we're in the serious part of the show
now. They were even spraying the homes, he tells me, at one point. But again, efforts of the firefighters, the coordination down here. But again, they left this morning, then they had to come back here, and occasionally you'll just see black plumes of smoke coming, and then that's when you see the water drops from the airplanes, and you see crews moving around. But definitely, if you live near here, if you don't live near here, stay out of the area. Crews are moving all over the place. Carolina Forest Boulevard, you just see fire trucks going up and down. You can hear the sirens going, and it's windy. There's definitely the wind. That's really the factor.
Man, like they gotta fill time or something. I feel
smoke.
I feel sorry for this dude. Like, can you report for 6 minutes for us? Because I don't think he had 6 minutes of content to say. I am going to hit the content warning before this one. I don't know if we've got any video or not. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the head. That's the head indeed. San Diego FC announcer. Dustin, good evening. Threatens to suspend a historic MLS game over vile homophobic chants. San Diego FC's inaugural MLS home match almost ended in disgrace on Saturday night after fans were urged to stop chanting a vile homophobic slur in the stands during the team's historic victory against St. Louis City FC. What does this FC even mean? Well, it's their balls. Yeah, this is English football, which eventually ended in a stalemate. The home crowd was heard shouting, "Puto," whenever opposition keeper Roman Berkey took a goal kick. The slur means male prostitute, but in Mexican Spanish translates roughly as "oh," and it is often used to criticize someone's masculinity. In recent years, it has caused controversy at fixtures involving the Mexican national team, with one of their games even being brought to a halt last year when the homophobic insult was heard in the stands. According to the Times of San Diego, a San Diego FC announcer warned fans over the public address system at Snapdragon Stadium that the game would be suspended if the homophobic chanting did not stop. They displayed a message to the crowd. Discrimination has no place in our sport and in our stadiums and will not be tolerated. The fan chant that was just used is offensive, and we ask that fans do not continue to use this chant. Thank you. Socks. Do we not have video of it? Apparently we don't have video of the chant. My apologies. I guess we can do without that. Kitties. Maynard. Bad kitty. Bad kitty. He likes to fuck with Socks sometimes. Socks is old and fragile. Leave Socks alone, buddy. They're like children. There were reports of shots fired at a cheerleading competition in Dallas. Apparently it was not gunfire, but it was parents fighting. They are way better than children. Curious or good evening.
Chaos in downtown Dallas this afternoon. People running in fear after an incident at a national cheerleading competition inside the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center. We are glad you are with us tonight, everybody. I'm Teresa Woodard. We just learned the National Cheerleader Association competition will resume tomorrow. It was canceled for the rest of today. That information came out from organizers within the last 20 minutes.
That was on Saturday.
Dallas police have also provided some clarity about what did and did not happen. So let's start with that. Police say a fight broke out at the National Cheerleaders Association competition this afternoon. It was between two parents.
Multiple Polish people were knocked down.
Poles fell down during that fight. That caused loud noises, and people wrongly thought those were gunshots. That led to a stampede. Multiple people sustained non-life-threatening injuries in all the chaos. Many families thought there was an active shooter. Dallas police say that was not the situation.
Cricks, good evening.
No shooting.
Welcome in.
Now, Varsity Brands runs the National Cheerleaders
I thought this was America.
That organization sent this statement earlier. They say, quote, "We want to thank the Dallas Police Department for their help assessing and controlling the situation, as well as the first responders who assisted those impacted. As a precaution, we suspended activities for today, and we will continue to work with event staff and local authorities to ensure a safe environment for our athletes to finish competing when we resume tomorrow." We have live coverage for you tonight. Richard Solomon with families who experienced this chaos at one of the largest sporting events the city of Dallas hosts, with competitors being ordered to stop performances and get off the floor. But first,
no Dallas Cowboys were hurt.
Who saw the chaos firsthand, because Chris was here at our studio, which is very near the convention center. Chris?
Yeah, Teresa, it is right next door, and we saw everybody running. We saw people trying to hide. It was obvious their survival instincts had kicked in, because at the time, this is what they thought was an active shooter situation. Now, since then, we know police have come out and said there was no shooting.
I like this dude. I would tap him on Grindr.
Was there that would make you think that some people thought that this really was a shooting happening in front of them. We stepped out to see what was going on and saw people hiding in the bushes not far from our lobby, while others were running with urgency as fast as they could. From talking to many of them, they all had very similar stories.
I didn't even notice that.
Loud commotion, loud banging, and then people running. And when you put those elements together, instincts told others to start running as well. Soon it turned into
somebody hook smash up with a sub
of the Omni and the convention center. Some people were hurt in the process of that stampede. We could see cheerleading teams and families on the phone trying to get in touch with one another, trying to set up a reunification point for those that got separated. There was a heavy police presence at the hotel, and although police say there was no shooting, One mother took us through the chaos and fear that sent thousands running for safety.
Maybe a pre-roll or something?
It just blew out. And then somebody kept saying there's a gun, and the cops kept saying no, there's no gun, but they said there's a gun, there's a shooter. And so I had her, and the kids were already on their cheer for it, but people were everywhere. They were falling, shoes were everywhere, makeup, everything was everywhere.
Yeah, so
it was a good cheerleader with a
the time. Right now, they've opened the street back up here in front of the convention center. There are a few cheerleaders still milling about.
This is an argument to arm the cheerleaders.
Their hotel as competition will resume tomorrow.
Wow, it doesn't match his tie.
Police so far, no word.
It's actually kind of an ugly tie. Now that I'm looking at it.
What happened inside? We're still learning, hoping to learn that information soon. But for now, I'm going to send it over.
Maybe I wouldn't tab him on Grindr because maybe he's not gay.
More on these families that were right in the middle.
That might be a straight man. We've got video of cops. Well, it's patrons fleeing a restaurant, I believe. Apparently it was a Chick-fil-A. It was Jesus Chicken. Wait a minute, they're not open on Sunday. What?
And, well, Chick-fil-A's, as you may know, are closed on Sunday, so very little activity tonight. But for the first time, we're seeing what happened after chaos erupted inside. You're looking at video from a surveillance camera next door to the Chick-fil-A on Boylston Street just around 5:30 Saturday night. Seconds later, you see several employees with red shirts run out of the fast food location, followed by customers running.
Chick-fil-A got shot up.
Fast forward the tape 3 minutes, and first responders arrive at the Back Bay location. Witnesses telling Boston police a man with a knife was threatening customers. Also inside, an off-duty Boston police officer.
And the off-duty officer identified himself as a police officer, instructed them to drop the weapon, at which point the individual did not comply. The officer discharged his weapon to stop the threat.
What is this, a Waffle House?
Was struck.
I support the police, yeah. I mean, he had to do what he had to do. Fortunately, nobody else got hurt.
Customers who ran from the restaurant during the incident came back to Boylston to get their belongings, but will have to wait till Monday when it reopens. For now, the suspect in this case has not been identified, and their autopsy is not complete. As for the Boston police officer, we are told he is okay, but his name has not been released as part of this investigation.
That officer last night was incredibly
nuts.
Took a stance. He was out for a quick bite to eat, picking up a package, and as we know, all hell can break loose at any minute.
Of course, he was at the Chick-fil-A.
Police tell us there were so many witnesses here last night. An MBTA bus took some of those witnesses, 15 in fact, at Boston Police headquarters to be interviewed. Speaking of, Boston Police are asking for more witnesses to come forward, especially if you have video of what happened here inside last night. We're live in the Back Bay. I'm Ted Wayman, WCVB News Center 5.
Okay.
Well, that's what happened at the Chick-fil-A last night. I think it could have been Thursday night, but I think it was on Friday. I've got two cats right in front of my monitors. I can't see what's going on. This was in Liberty County, which I don't even know where that's at. Oh, this is in Texas. This is Liberty County, Texas. A jail was taken over by the inmates.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Keith Garber.
Yeah, the suspect died.
Mom is on assignment, and she will join us momentarily. But first, destruction and disruption inside the Liberty County Jail. Deputies say they were able to regain control after several inmates tried to take over. KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel joins us live outside the jail with how this all started. Corley.
Keith, things became chaotic during shakedowns as deputies were checking inmates for contraband.
I bet this woman did pageants.
5 inmates started a ruckus and things quickly got out of hand. Take a look at this video. This was not long after things calmed down, but multiple agencies responded to that takeover attempt earlier today. Deputies say inmates busted out several windows inside 2 of the dorms. They also blocked deputies from opening up the doors. Deputies were able to distribute gas passed through the windows, and they were eventually able to regain control within about 30 minutes. Roughly 40 inmates were in their pods and that were damaged. They will now be relocated to other facilities as they work to make those repairs to the jail. Deputies say at least 5 inmates will be charged for trying to take over the jail.
I'm going to make it clear that these people are going to face additional charges. You know, we're not going to take this lightly. This is something that we need to make sure that is handled appropriately.
Is it just me or does he look like DJ Khaled?
And deputies say that no
and another one.
During that takeover attempt, the sheriff's office does have a line open at the jail for anyone that is trying to check on their loved ones to make sure that they are okay. At this time, the names of the people who are going to be charged after this takeover attempt, they have not been identified, but we, of course, will bring...
I mean, what else do they have to do on a Friday night?
Available. Reporting live from Liberty County, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
And Corley, earlier this week, you were in Liberty County there where ICE and DPS conducted a task force operation in the neighborhood named Colony Ridge. During that operation,
could have been protesting his conditions.
Were arrested on a lot of different charges. Several viewers have reached out to us and our Click to Houston help desk asking if the takeover attempt was in response to frustrations over that operation. Does the sheriff's office believe that they're connected in any way?
Keith, the sheriff's office tells me they believe it is not connected. They say the inmate or the people that were arrested during that Colony Ridge operation, they're being held in a different facility. Only 2 people who were arrested during that operation that day are being held here in the Liberty County Jail. One of those inmates is charged with murder, and ICE did confirm that he is connected to the MS-13 gang. Some of our viewers were also asking questions about if this was an MS-13 gang takeover inside the jail today. I did ask the deputy chief or the chief deputy that question. He tells me that they don't know if the inmates that were starting the ruckus here inside the jail today, if they have any affiliation to MS-13. They are still investigating, but we, of course, again, will keep you updated.
All right. Corley Peel live there in Liberty County. Thank you, Corley. And you can stay up to the minute on the...
Totally not racist, Cricks. No. Ruckus makes it sound like something like my cousins in Appalachia would be doing after they had some moonshine. They raise a ruckus. Her choice of words amuses me. We're gonna go to Huntsville, Alabama, where an entire police department had to be disbanded because of their corruption. Community members are outraged. This is the latest update.
Now, the Huntsville City Council took no action on the police department tonight during its first meeting since the arrest of 5 Huntsville police officers and one of their wives. Hello, I'm Brenda LeDunn.
And I'm Ariel Bailey. Public comment lasted more than an hour. ABC 3340's Megan Scarano was at that meeting, and she joins us live from Huntsville right now. And Megan, the indictments came down more than a week ago.
Yeah, what a lineup.
The council says it needs more time to make the right decision.
Muriel, the council tabled
Megan is AI.
regarding the police department tonight, but did set up a special called meeting in order to have more time to be able to make that decision. Many community members spoke during public comment, many questioning how this was ever able to happen in the first place.
That hole where they were able to access the evidence. Who in here for the city council knew about that hole and knew that the evidence was being held in that room?
Asking about their hole.
Buck has to stop somewhere. It stops up here with all of you.
Yeah.
I'm not a novice here. I've been an attorney for 33 years. I understand negligence and I understand responsibility. And every single person sitting up here has a responsibility to the citizens of Huntsville.
What's come to light in recent weeks is not just disappointing, it's disheartening.
And it wasn't just community members who spoke here tonight in Huntsville. Several city employees took to the podium, including the town clerk and dispatchers.
Our hiring protocol has changed, but is also in the process of continued change. We have expressed our concerns to the appropriate leaders in reference to the jail, and the possible liability
I did say a hole.
due to the limited staffing.
Police Chief Josh Howell.
To be clear, like it was like one entire family that was running this jail, the sheriff's department in this little small town. I think 3,000 people is what lives in the community. They apparently had broken out some sort of hole between like the department and like like where regular employees can be and where like evidence was held, so that like the younger kids could get into the evidence and go out and then traffic the drugs, apparently. But we don't know the whole story yet. It went to a grand jury. The grand jury recommended that the police department be disbanded. Just wholly disbanded.
Back in April and before of 2024, threatened me on 3 occasions. Police Deputy Chief Adam Hatter threatened me on several occasions. I have had my life threatened over what went on at this police department.
Several council members claim they had no idea what was happening within the police department, saying they were just as shocked as the community. And Councilman Kenneth Cornelius said he called SBI himself on September 3rd to take over the investigation when the dispatcher died. Councilmember Patty Dean said she did not agree with
the dispatcher died of a fentanyl overdose.
It made it look like every officer who worked in the city of Hanceville was guilty. She also said the grand jury doesn't know the needs of the city regarding their recommendations. One of them is to abolish the police department. And once the meeting was over, I approached the city council to see who, if any of them, would take our questions. Would anyone be on the council be available to answer any of our questions? Would anyone on the council be able to answer our questions? So you don't agree with the grand jury?
I don't agree with their findings about us disbanding our police department.
Her name is Patty Dean. She looks like she's Paula's cousin.
It's not their findings about people being found with evidence to have violated the law.
What the fuck? That didn't even make any sense, lady.
She said the city has 4 police officers left who would be willing to come back and work with the city if they were lifted off that administrative leave they were put on last week. That special called meeting is set for Monday, March 10th at the Hanceville Civic Center, live in Hanceville.
Why would you want corrupt police to come back? That doesn't make any sense. Holy God. We show solidarity with all workers here on this stream, but not these fuckers. We say ACAB to these correctional officers that apparently are continuing their strike.
But despite the continued pleas from docs and the possible punishments looming overhead, many corrections officers are still on strike. They're protesting what they call unsafe working conditions that haven't been properly addressed. NBC5's Benny Nazai brings us the latest developments from Dannemora.
Corrections officers united more than ever, even in the most frigid temperatures.
There's still quite a few people out here, and today they're fighting the weather.
A large crowd outside Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora Sunday.
This is in Texas.
14 of COs on strike, pushing for a safer working environment inside New York prisons. It comes as the state and the union representing COs came to an agreement this week after several days of mediation.
This resolution is just the beginning. We want to continue addressing systemic issues and make sure this entire environment is safe for
Apparently not Texas. Hold on. Apparently this is in New York. My apologies.
everyone involved and protect the staff and incarcerated individuals.
The agreement
Kathy Hochul became the governor of Texas
for 90 days with a reevaluation of the law in 30 days and consider screening mail that enters the facilities. But officers say the agreement doesn't fully address their concerns.
from talking with the officers that are here, they believe it definitely did not go far enough to meet what they feel would require them to go back into work in the facility.
The consent award also stated that the Department of Corrections would not take any disciplinary actions against members who are striking as long as they return to work by Saturday, March 1st. Nyskoba says that it'll be up to each individual who currently is refusing to work to decide whether to return to work or risk termination, potential fines, and possible arrest for violating court order. While the COs on strike are concerned about what could happen, they're still fighting for what they believe in.
Nobody to root for in this one.
They're all worried about what they could possibly lose, but they're willing to stick it out. Like I say, they've had enough of it and they can't take any more.
We're not gonna take it.
Which is why their message to the state is plain and simple.
If it comes down to the fact where the governor decides to fire everybody, then they'll find jobs. There's work out there, but she won't be able to run these prisons.
In Dannemora, Benny Nazai, NBC5 News.
Okay, please don't hate me with this next story. You're gonna be upset that I made you hear this, I think. Is this Evansville, Indiana? This is Evansville, Indiana. Get the content warning for this one. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Has somebody been calling? Nobody's called me, Josephus. In my Discord. But now you're going to have to wait on this. That's not the phone. You can't say answer the phone when you're not calling the phone. What's up?
Well, I'm calling you on my phone, so you know what I mean?
Fair enough, fair enough. But like you say phone, I think the phone line. What's going on, Josephus?
Yeah, I know. I realized that there would be some confusion, and I decided to roll with it.
Smoke with me.
You know, I just smoked. I can't do it again, but I'll vape with. I have a vape though. I'll vape with you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair. I'm gonna bong you vape.
It's still weed. Look, see, I don't really want to argue with you or be mad at you. I'm more. This is more like
what I do.
No. But you fuckers.
What I do?
In America. No, you didn't do shit.
Oh, just Americans in general. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
You know, like, it is a real country. And we are your best fucking friends in the whole fucking world. And this fucking meathead that you got up in the fucking White House keeps talking shit about us being the 51st state. And, you know, he must think that we're all very, very stupid, because we're not. We know what will happen if you guys take us over. We will not become a state. We will become a fucking place like Puerto Rico. We will not have representation. And you will treat us like fucking garbage while you rape our country of all its resources. Okay, we're not dumb. And that's the thing.
What's a possibility?
You guys couldn't hold a fucking country in the desert that was populated by fucking sheep herders with AK-47s. What makes you think you are good? Do you know why the Geneva Conventions exist? It's a list of things that Canada is banned from doing because of what we did in World War I. We're sick. We're sick in the head. You know, we just pretend to be nice.
Fucking Canadians, man. Blame Canada. Is that why you guys don't have a military?
No, that's actually that's something that most Canadians agree is kind of pathetic. Like, we should, and we do have a military, here's the thing: we do have a military, and most of our military guys and women are like highly specialized. That's kind of our thing. What we don't have is like a standing fucking army of, soldiers that you can like send out into the meat grinders. It's true. You guys would roll the fuck over on us in a month. No one's stupid. We know that. It's just about what's going to happen after you do that. That's what I think you don't understand. Not you, but the proverbial you, so to speak. That's a cat. That is a cat. Cool. Oh, beans. Toe beans. Cool. Anyways, I'm sorry that I get so worked up. I've had a few beers. I was hanging out with my brother, who's also, we love our country.
No, it's totally cool. Let it all out. Let it all out. Did you, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan or not, but wrestling was in Toronto last night.
I don't know how I feel about Canadians booing the American anthem, because I think it's like...
Well, they totally did that last night at wrestling, and booed when Logan Paul came out with the American flag.
Well, yeah, but no, well, it might not have had anything to do with the American flag. It might have just been because it was Logan Paul, you know what I mean?
True, yes.
But I have mixed feelings about booing the American anthem, because a lot of you Americans, you don't see the nuance in why... or not, actually, I'm going to stop using the word you, but I mean, some Americans don't see the nuance on why Canadians are booing the American anthem. We're booing it because your president keeps threatening us.
Well, I think they know that.
If he would shut the fuck up about this 51st state shit and stop threatening our economy, we're buddies. I do not know why. Well, I know why he's behaving this way. I just think it's like, I know that some Americans just support that shit wholeheartedly. So, booing the American anthem, I don't know, man. That might be a dangerous move. What I think we could do, though...
But we like to boo the... I think my chat would say boo the American national anthem.
No.
For other reasons, not just because of Canada,
Some people up here, some people down there, though, they've started booing the Canadian anthem, right? And that's for completely irrational reasons.
Well, hold on. Like... We used to boo the Canadian national anthem in the 90s, back when Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were having their feud.
Oh, those are good times.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
That was different. This is like more. So that's what Trump does, right? Is he puts an idea out there and he sees how much support he can get for it. And a lot of fucking chuds down there seem to think it's cool.
Okay, counterpoint. So what if you guys did become an American? If you were to become American,
it's inconceivable.
It's inconceivable. I agree. But let's thought process, like we're thought project or whatever the fuck they call it.
Okay, hold on. I need to open a beer for this one.
Okay, yeah. I need to hit the bar. Okay, I would think if Canada was to become a part of the United States, it would be, how many territories you got? 8?
Oh, Jesus
10.
Christ. I think it's 10 provinces, 2 territories. I forget, man.
So 12 in total. I'm sorry. I was really off on it, but you don't even know, and you're Canadian.
I know.
So 12.
I do know, but I haven't done a civics class in about 30 years.
This is
bullshit.
10 and 3, Holiday says.
Name all 50 states right now, Justin.
Arizona, Arkansas, Alabama. What?
Stop. You don't have to. I was just messing with you.
I could probably do it. I could probably write them on a map pretty well and get fucking close.
Cool. Anyways, it would end up being something like, this is the thing that when Trump says Canada's become the 51st state, that's what I mean. He wouldn't divide the provinces up, right? It wouldn't become like 10 new states and 2 new territories or whatever you want to call them. It would be fucking...
It wouldn't even be a state. I get what you're saying. It wouldn't even be one state. Canada wouldn't be a state. You'd be treated like one of our bastard-ass territories.
Yeah, we have a population of 40 million, and if you gave all of us like a state for each province, and equal representation in Congress, you know how far left America would shift? Like, you guys would end up with like fucking universal health care. Like, that's why we will never become an official part of America, because our culture, like.
That's why I was counterpointing on it. See, I already think we should make our territory, like we've got like 5 territories. All 5 of them should be states. DC should be a state.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, okay. Let's do it this way. Justin becomes president after Donald Trump. I come into office. I look at Canada and I'm like, all right, let's do it like this. We can keep things exactly like they are. Love it. We'll be perfect partner with you across the border. We can improve our relations. But what if there's a province or a territory that would like to come over to the United States, and we will offer you full stateship if you would like to come over? You think Quebec would come join us or some shit?
No, Quebec is like, that's a real funny. So on Reddit,
they're separatists, aren't they? They want to be separate from Canada anyway.
Well, I mean, it was like that, but then your fucking orange Cheeto man opened his mouth, and you know that meme of like Legolas and Gimli, and they're about to go fight the end of the war, and like he's like, I never thought I'd be fighting with an elf.
Oh yeah.
Could you do it with a friend? I could do that. So there's a meme floating around of a Quebec like a Quebecer and an Anglophone, and the Anglophone is Legolas, and Gimli is the Quebecer, and and it's in French. He's like, tu veux battre avec un ami, an Anglophone. Parce que I'm doing bad French right now, but it's like
it's enough to make me horny.
Donald Trump got Quebecers to start flying Canadian flags. Can you fucking believe it? Holy fuck.
Oh, wow. So it united Canada.
He did. No, even conservatives. Pierre Poilievre was supposed to win a majority government. It's looking like now, and this isn't even like, we don't have like the same kind of bad fucking polling you guys have, man. Even we have like our pollers, like we can identify them as conservative, as liberal, as left. There's not many leftist polls in Canada anyways, but last week, like 2 of the biggest like right-wing polls in Canada said that if Mark Carney wins the Liberal leadership, now that Justin Trudeau has resigned, Mark Carney is like this guy that ran the Bank of Canada, and after that got hired to run the Bank of England. Like, if he wins the leadership of the Liberal Party, he's going to get a majority government, and big old Pee-Pee, who thought he was going to be the fucking Prime Minister Trump of Canada, is going to go fucking running away with his tail between his legs. And thank fucking God, because all that was going to happen if Pierre Poilievre won the fucking election was we were going to have to sit there and watch him gargle Donald Trump's balls for the next 4 or 5 years while he sold our country to America.
Well, hold on. Trump shouldn't have more than like 3.5 years left.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that Pierre Poilievre and JD Vance are like fucking political equals. They're both like useless cunts that everyone hates, and they can, I'm sure PP would be happy to suckle president.
Is that what you guys call him, PP?
We all call him PP. Everybody.
I love it.
PP. Yeah.
So when is your election happening?
So there's not going to be an election until the Liberals have a new leader. So that's gonna everyone say Chrystia Freeland might win it, but I don't think so. I think Mark Carney is just too popular, and he's actually like everybody wants this older statesman kind of guy. Everybody trusts that kind of guy in Canada. Like they don't want to go with a woman. They don't want to go with like.
Who would you relate Carney to? Like, is there an amount like somebody in American politics you could say like Carney's like?
Oh fuck, in America. I mean, that's tough. That's hard to do, man. You guys don't have politicians like him. You don't like we don't have we have some politicians that are like American politicians, but your game is so different than ours, right? That's why a lot of us like PP is very popular with a lot of conservatives. He still is. and he still might win the election, and he still might become the prime minister. Like, I don't know. It's a possibility. The polls could all be wrong. But the thing about Pierre Poilievre that most of us like center, I would say right of center, center, and center left, and leftist Canadians, is that Pierre Poilievre is a fucking asshole who introduced American-style bullshit into Canadian politics. Name calling, right? Like, and stupid slogans instead of ever talking about policy, because like, you know, that's something that like I was, at least me and my generation, we were taught in school, is that like during an election, every party releases a platform, and they're usually a couple of pages filled with the main bullet points with, you know, the direction towards their deeper policies if you want to know more, and that is how you should base your votes. You know, or at least that's the minimum level of information that you could possibly go get, as it's easy to digest. So,
well, I was listening to some like political scientists talk like politics are supposed to be boring. You know, we watch these meetings. They're supposed to be like painstakingly boring. That's how you know a government is functioning well. And when there's name calling and it's, you know, a circus, that's when you know your government is not functioning.
Yeah. Hey, Ratak Tusk the Silent, I fucking know, man. I know we're fucked. We are fucking screwed. I am afraid.
I don't know if you guys, if you lay a smackdown on this election and you put Carney in power, then you didn't answer my question. When will the Liberals know who their nominee or their leader is going to be?
They're going to have their leadership vote, I think, sometime in early March, and then the election has to be called by, I think it's September. That by law, an election has to happen every 5 years in Canada, by law.
And then once you call it, it's like 60 days, right, or something like that.
Yeah, our elections are quick. It's something like that. If you want me to look it up, the specifics, like, I mean, it's been 5 years, you know, so, it's been 4 years since the last.
Well, we'll find out together. It's kind of like British elections. That's why, I knew.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out together. It'll be fun for me to get to cover a Canadian election, because when Trudeau came in, that was like 2014, 2015 or something like that.
Yeah, Obama was still president.
Yep. So I wasn't even doing the troll patrol. So this is going to be the first Canadian election. Ooh, I get to do my first Pope election here, and soon possibly.
Oh, cool. That's right. He's about to go, eh?
Oh, I should make the Pope Dies watch graphic like I had for COVID.
Like I'll watch it because I culturally find it interesting, but as an ex-Catholic, like I could give a fuck, man.
Oh, I'm in it for the jokes, but like I'll make a spectacle of the spectacle.
That's what I mean. Me as well. Yeah, the Canadian election this year, like, it means, I guess, probably nothing to the rest of the world, but I would say that, like, in the history of this country, this is a really, really, just like a watershed moment or something. Like, because Pierre Poilievre is going to take this country one way, Mark Carney's going to take it the other, and one way is on the path to becoming part of America, and the other is about remaining sovereign. And I just don't think that the Canadians that vote for Pierre Poilievre, he claims he's not MAGA, but everything he says is MAGA. He's like, he literally says these words that he wants to, like, demolish the woke leftist agenda.
Yep.
Like, he uses the same fucking language that Trump uses. Like,
up yours,
anyways,
woke moralists.
I was mad
we'll
at you.
See who cancels who.
But you don't mean me as in JustinFREAKIN. You mean me as in an American.
The proverbial American.
Yeah, Josie, if you ever need to take your anger out on an American, I'm here for you. I'm down for that. I actually think that's kind of fun.
What I would like it would be cool if you could get like a fucking chud in the chat, and then I could like really just like open up.
I don't know how to get you chuds in the chat because I can't get chuds for my own usage, right?
Okay, well.
And then you want to take my fun from me when I do get a chud.
Oh well, no, we could like tag team and like in wrestling. You know, I'll tap in, you tap out, I tap out, you tap in.
I would totally tap somebody with you, Josephus.
That's like a double entendre.
Okay, that was a good that was a good stopping point right there. I feel like we could end on that one.
Man. Well, have a good evening. Nice to chat.
You too. Light one up, tip one back, my friend.
Thank you. I will. Have a good evening, man. Peace.
Yes. All the while, I've got this story sitting over here, and I know this is next. And this is going to fuck with everybody in the chat. Yeah, we should hook Josephus up with Critically Thinking Veteran. We might be able to get that. We might be able to make that happen. I'm not even gonna tell you what's going on. Content warning. Welcome in Flash. I feel like somebody else came in on me. Avalon, good evening. Welcome in. That was Josephus from chat that was in Discord just now. One more time, content warning. Please give me your honest reactions when you hear the story.
A father and daughter are accused of marrying each other in Vanderburgh County. 59-year-old Bradley McCollum of Evansville and 44-year-old Kimberly Temple of Tell City are each facing a felony charge of providing false information on a marriage license application. Temple is also accused of felony attempted bigamy. McCollum's sister told police she believes the primary purpose of the marriage was so Temple could receive McCollum's monthly VA benefits while he is in federal prison.
Whoa, that took a turn. Okay, like so she was just committing fraud to get benefits. Yeah, I wouldn't narc on that one. I thought there was going to be sexual anarchy involved.
You live in sexual anarchy?
If it's just for fraud, no big deal. Yeah, honestly, it probably wouldn't have made my list if I'd known they were just doing it for fraud. It was the depravity of the mother and of the daughter and father relationship. Are there any cancel Justin? Are there any Limp Bizkit fans in the chat? Limp Bizkit got a new album coming out. Apparently they already leaked it to a fan on Twitter. I don't even know how this happens, but Fred Durst did this. On Tuesday, a Twitter user shared a screenshot of an Instagram DM between Fred Durst and a fan, in which it appears that the Limp Bizkit frontman accidentally sent them a link to the band's new album. As seen in the messages between Durst and the unidentified fan, the musician sent a link before following up with the message, "Wrong person, my bad." When the fan responded with, "I'ma leak this," Durst replied, "What are you going to gain from it?" A few people in the comment section on Twitter attempted to use the link Durst allegedly sent by manually typing it into the browser, but according to those fans, the link seems to no longer be active. Last year, it was reported that Limp Bizkit was back in the studio working on their first new album since 2021. Durst announced they had started working on a new record via Instagram. Oh shit, in the studio with John Otto. Limp Bizkit accidentally leaks their new album to a fan. And just a random Instagram, it's wild. It's possible, but probably not likely that this flight attendant was dancing to Limp Bizkit. Probably not likely. When she twerked.
She made headlines as the twerking flight attendant who lost her job after this video went viral. Now she's speaking out in an interview with our Amber Cogliano.
She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her dream job.
I didn't think that, being so happy can turn into something like this.
Nell Diallo was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself
I hate morning people.
Kind of get myself hyped up for my day, basically.
She posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says Alaska Airlines fired her.
What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Nell had only been on the job for 6 months. She says she was twerking to celebrate the end of her probationary period.
Why did you decide to post the video?
I was really proud of myself that I came so far. I just didn't think that my video and my post and the way I was dancing would be deemed as inappropriate.
So how did you feel in that meeting when they told you you lost your job?
I put on such a proud face every time I stepped on that plane. And for them to terminate me without giving me a chance, it just was unfair.
A representative from Alaska Airlines tells us they don't comment on personnel matters. No.
She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her dream job.
I didn't think that, being so happy can turn into something like this.
Nell Diallo was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up.
I'm for it.
Get myself hyped up for my day, basically.
You know exactly why I replayed it. 'Cause she hot as fuck.
Posted the video on TikTok along with the caption,
"I'll play it again
before work." But after the video went
There's
viral,
nothing wrong with a little twerk before work.
Fired her.
What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Nell had only been on the job for 6 months. She says
being so happy.
She looked good in that uniform, too.
Nell Diallo was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up. And
we can just watch this video over and over again. I'm happy with it.
Basically.
She posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says...
Seriously, because that's kind of like an ugly outfit.
What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Nell had only been on the job for 6 months. She says she was twerking to celebrate the end of her probationary period.
Why did you decide to post the video?
And I was really proud of myself that I came so
Yeah, someone call Luigi.
I just didn't think that my video and my post and the way I was dancing would be deemed as inappropriate.
So how did you feel in that meeting when they told you you lost your job?
I put on such a...
See, the chat perfectly happy with me playing it again.
And for them to terminate me without giving me a chance, it just was unfair.
A representative from Alaska.
Also a hottie coming up. This is going to be the first ever transgender woman to compete in the Miss Georgia competition.
Time, an openly transgender woman has announced her intention to compete in Miss Georgia USA.
We spoke with Bella Batista in an exclusive interview who says she's optimistic about this upcoming competition.
I don't remember Holiday, but I can give you the story.
Currently Miss Buckhead USA, but now she's dreaming bigger.
I was like, you know what? This could honestly be a true reality for me. This dream could one day come true. And just because there's not a first in Georgia, you know, I could be that first.
In 2021, Catalina Enriquez from Nevada made history when she became the first transgender woman to compete in the Miss USA pageant. But not everyone has been accepting of Bella Batista's journey to Miss Georgia, especially on social media.
It was over 1,000 comments in less than 30 minutes of people saying that I shouldn't be in this world, I'm just a man, that I am mentally ill, that, you know, I don't belong in this pageant.
And just yesterday, the Georgia legislature voted to move forward a bill that would bar transgender women from competing in women's sports. Batista spoke out against the bill as she herself is a cheerleader.
It's heartbreaking to know that the elected officials that I voted for are stripping away my civil rights and liberties and my opportunity for happiness, because being a cheerleader makes me happy.
But Batista is not focused on the hate. She's getting ready for the competition she's dreamed of for years.
So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sign up, I'm gonna wish for the best, and hopefully that I am treated fairly and scored fairly as well.
Well, a Mexican woman has never won Miss Georgia before. The competition isn't until June 12th, but Batista said she's going to be focused on preparing and practicing her speeches in the coming months.
Pageants are fucking stupid.
More 911, what's the address of your emergency? What? Hello, more 911.
What?
Hello?
Yes?
Do you have an emergency?
Oh, yes.
Hello?
Donuts.
Donuts? I want donuts.
I'm sorry.
Are you going to share your donuts?
I'm taking your mommy.
You're going to take me to mommy now?
I won't. Emergency donuts.
Emergency donuts.
Yes. Go. Emergency donuts.
Emergency donuts.
Donuts.
Can I talk to mom?
Boop.
Donuts.
I want some donuts. Are you going to share your donuts?
Donuts.
Can you tell me what kind of donuts you have? Do you have blueberry donuts?
Blueberry donuts? Does this woman know what donuts are?
An emergency?
Emergency donuts.
Are you going to share?
Right now.
You're not.
Who thinks of blueberry first when they think of a donut?
To mom?
Emergency donuts.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna let play. What's gonna happen for us? Oh, it's a Make-A-Wish kid. I like the emergency donuts. I like a coffee cake. I like the sweet cinnamon crumble. Oh my God, Cat. Stop with this shit. Stop. Stop. I mean, you might have like a blueberry jelly-filled donut, but like that's a rare donut. Who like the first donut that comes to your head is
Beautiful.
Blueberry.
This is the final look.
Next.
It's a typical procedure. Check your luggage, go through security, and wait at the gate. Now picture this.
Did we watch this one already?
Flight, the only one to stand up is you.
We would love it.
I'd enjoy it, most definitely, because, like, that is a rare event.
So when Natalie Wolfley and
We did watch this.
arrived at the airport, they didn't realize how lucky they were about to be.
The guy was like talking to us and he was like, oh, like you guys have a chartered plane. And we're like, oh, haha, like that's so funny. And then he turned the screen around.
Ironic.
And showed us, like,
Good evening.
Like 100, how many? 175 seats. And then we see the number 2. Like there's 2 seats taken on the whole flight.
The two were heading to Phoenix to celebrate Savannah's bridal shower. So their own personal Southwest flight was like an early wedding present.
And we were just giddy.
It was just like an hour-long flight.
VIP, like this is our plane. What a fun way to kick off like wedding celebrations.
Spoiler alert, at the end of the story, they had to fly back on a plane that was completely packed. Completely packed. Completely packed. Twitch people, I'm going to stick around for 30, 45 minutes or so, hang out with you, get a little more high. I'm not going to give you an animal video before we head out. This is an Arctic fox, apparently stealing a man's fish.
В моей лунке моя рыба.
Wait, did he get down the hole? He wants that fish. Cat dog. Cat dog. Damn, downed it. I like how the dude just basically gave up. You know, you get way more fish if you let fishermen pet you. That is the most adorable goddamn thing. I would cuddle with that thing. Would it bite me? It would, wouldn't it? But it's not like gonna kill me. They smell weird. Yeah, get it as a little baby. I'd love to have a little domesticated fox. I think it's fox, Josephus. I think fox is both plural and singular. I think it's one of those words. Or is it foxes? It would help polar bears fuck me up. Books. There is such a thing as mooses if you believe. Meese. I love you guys. Fox eye. It's just a you, baby. The plural of moose is not mouse because a mouse is a mouse. I want a fox. I didn't know I wanted a fox. I got a goddamn cat up here. YouTube people, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun, but we're at the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. Tuesday night is the State of the Union, so we're going to be coming on early. Tuesday night, State of the Union with Donald Trump. I'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live. Podcast people, good night.